Hi everyone. I thought I would talk today about a track from the album that I did some years ago, 2002 to be precise, an album that was called Lake Effect. And on there's a track with three tunes, three reels. The first one is called Jump Ball, the second one is called Whipple Hill, and the third one is called How We Spent the Christmas. Those first two I wrote, and I think the third tune I had to actually look back to see where did I get that originally, but indeed I got it from a music book that's called Waifs and Strays. I think it's entirely Waifs and Strays of Irish Melody. It is a Francis O'Neill book, and this tune was sitting in there, and I had liked it I think for some time before I came up on doing that album. So two tunes, and really the titles have stories, Jump Ball and Whipple Hill, but they don't describe anything that's happening in the tune. I didn't write the tune for the circumstance for the title for either tune. The first tune I called Jump Ball after kind of a funny experience when we were kids. My brother and myself, we lived on Garfield Boulevard. People who don't know Chicago, it's an east-west street, and around Western Avenue, pretty much all the way towards the lake, it becomes a boulevard. So it was 55th Street, and now it's 55th Street Boulevard, or Garfield Boulevard. And yeah, and it was a great place to grow up because you could just walk out the first floor steps from our apartment. I was on the second floor, and walk right across the street, and there you could have baseball, softball, football, whatever sport was going, running. And my brother and I were attempting to jump as high as we could for a basketball jump ball when a friend of ours thought he'd help us out and throw up the ball for us to practice that little move. And we made the mistake of getting way too enthused and decided if we got a running start that we would jump really high. And I was back here, my brother was there, Ricky, our friend, neighbor, threw the ball up, we're running, and of course it was a big smash. I always think that I kind of won that because I had a big bruise on my chin while my brother, who was way taller than me, had a bruise on his forehead. So I think I won the jump ball, but we were both crashed out on the boulevard. Yeah, but a great place to grow up. My second tune I named after Whipple Hill. There's a street called Whipple, and my aunt used to go to this park called Marquette Park, and called it herself. It wasn't named Whipple Hill, but she would talk about going to sun herself on Whipple Hill, and I always loved that she called it Whipple Hill and named this tune that. Again, the third tune is now called How We Spent the Christmas, and of course I'm making an album, and I really didn't care to have any Christmas titled tunes, but there you go. It's a nice tune. Here's the tune I'm talking about. It's a great little tune, very simple, and even now I like it a lot. So I had this in my back pocket, as I was saying, and when I felt like that track was not done with two tunes, I thought about this tune that I like so much. So now circumstances are that I'm there, I'm at the end of a second tune, and I want to go into this tune, but in fact, maybe that key switch wasn't as exciting as I wanted it to be, or as cool as I wanted it to be. So I changed the key of this tune. It was here to here. And I love those low tunes. And if you're like me, you like them too. So I'm going to play a little bit of the tune that goes before it. In fact, I'll play it once through. This is the tune that's called Whipple Hill, which I always really liked, but I've never heard anybody pick up on this track. So for whatever reason, it's like one of my favorite tunes that I ever wrote. And I'm going to make the switch into that tune. I would go into repeating that tune, but if I'm going to go for you now and go into the tune I'm talking about, How We Spent the Christmas, I guess I could have gone to the original key, but instead I thought it sounded really great to go here. So again, just the last part of Whipple Hill. So there I am at the end of the second part, and I wrote a third part for this tune. I think I was, because I'm trying to remember, but I think I was really inspired by it being down there and being such a gravelly sounding tune now. So it's very, very cool, and I did want to play this tune in the original key, so I'm not remembering whether I added this new melody to get to the new key, or did I write this new melody just inspired by the first two parts. So I'm not remembering, but I can say this, that once I go back to the original key, I use this third part again. So I liked it. And obviously the accompanists on this liked it too. John Doyle is on there playing the guitar. Chico Huff is playing the bass. Emma Dean Rivera is a wonderful percussionist from New York who used to be playing with Eileen Ivers a good bit. And John Doyle employed him to come on over and help us with this album. So the third part ended up being this. First part. Original key. Third part again. which was also one of my favorite moments. You'll say to yourself, okay, what were you thinking there? And I think I was thinking maybe of Eleanor Neary and Johnny McGreevy, Eleanor Kane Neary on the piano, Johnny McGreevy, and that gang when they would end a tune with this bright, different chord that hasn't happened the whole time. And it was always so fun. So I'm thinking that that's what I was thinking. So again, that last part, up to speed. Woohoo! All right, well, the reason I'm thinking about this today, I was going through old tapes that I had sitting around, and I was seeing this was recorded at Maja in Philadelphia, and I was seeing an old, back in the day, like the FedEx truck would be coming every day handing you a new mix. This one I think might have been the very last mix, because it's June 24th, 02. It says revised copy. Of course, he's spelling my name wrong. No problem. And they had sent one more with 4 tracks, which this little one said finals. But yeah, it's been fun looking through things. Again, when I looked back to see where this tune was from, how we spent the Christmas, this reel is found in O'Neill's Waifs and Strays, and I wrote a wonderful old collection of tunes, and I wrote I couldn't resist giving it a third part. Very bold, actually. Don't know if any of you have done that. I one time wrote a new part, and I may have talked about it on here. What was the tune? It was a jig, I know, and Jack Cohen, the great flute player, I think I had tried it out on Jack when we were with the Greenfields, and he thought I was doing a terrible thing messing with Irish music, but there were reasons then. I'll see if I can write that down in the notes and remind you of what date I talked about that tune. Yeah, not gonna think of it. All right, yeah, just interesting stuff to throw at you today. The idea of writing a new part for an old tune. Interesting to some, yes, hopefully. All right, see you again. And by the way, this really has that new smell. It's like when you get in a new car after it being in the shop. Yeah, gorgeous. All right, bye you guys.